3 times the Febreze freshness versus Gain Original Liquid.
Super fresh, super clean. Gain Super Flings.
Gain Super Flings for next level laundry.
At Boot Barn, we believe the cowboy boot is the foundation for a life well lived. We work, we raise, we break bread, and tomorrow it starts again. This life requires a boot that supports perseverance. Ariat boots undergo 150 steps to ensure performance. Boot Barn carries over 250,000 Ariat boots nationwide, because out west, tenacity is second to none. Ariat at Boot Barn.
Baseball lives here.
Hill breaks for the plate. There will be no throw. And on a wild pitch, the Marlins walk it off again.
Listen live to every Miami Marlins game on Fox Sports 940 and the iHeartRadio app.
Pitch. Stowers cracks that one out to center and deep. Siri is back. He looks up and it's gone. The Marlins waste no time. Kyle Stowers with a 2-run shot, and they take a 2-0 lead in the first.
Miami Marlins baseball is on deck.
2-1. That kicks away from Rodriguez. Hill breaks for the plate. There will be no throw. And on a wild pitch, the Marlins walk it off again. 1-2. Conine lifts out to left field. Tommy Pham working back to the warning track. So is Sawinski. They look up and it's gone. Griffin Conine to left center. And we're tied at 2 in the 7th.
Marlins on deck. Brought to you by ADT, the official smart security partner of the Miami Marlins, and Norwegian Cruise Line. Experience more at sea. Let's head out to the ballpark. Here's your host, Steven Strong.
All right, nice job, man. We're blaming you last night because you didn't work and the Marlins lost. But we're back here today as we welcome you into Lone Depot Park in Miami on an 86-degree sticky Thursday afternoon, a sheltered 78 degrees inside the broadcast booth. You are listening to Miami Marlins baseball on the radio. It's Fox Sports 940 Miami. Game 85 of 162. You know, all good things eventually come to an end, and that was the case for the 8-game win streak for the Miami Marlins last night, the first one since 2008. An irritating end after a situation in the 6th that's really out of anyone's hands. A should-have-been RBI single from Kyle Stowers turned into nada, and the Marlins dropped Game 2 2-1. Now, some redemption with the rubber match this afternoon, and we're pumped to bring it to you. It's the Game 3, the series finale interleague set between the 41-45 Minnesota Twins and your now 38-46 Miami Marlins. 25-year-old right-hander David Festa. We saw him last September at Target Field. He will take the rubber for Rocco Baldelli's Twins. Yuri Perez. Is this the start that we smirk and smile and say, that's the guy we know? We get going today at 12:10 right here on the Marlins Radio Network. Hi, everyone. Quick turnaround here. Thanks for making Marlins on Deck a part of your technically Thursday morning with Jack McMullen and Kelly Sacco. I'm Steven Strom. Got an awesome show for you ahead. We're going the distance here, and we thank you for your participation today. Yuri Perez, the big storyline for at least me, the foul balls. We have Daniel Moskis, who will join the program to discuss why it's been such an uptick. 26 against Arizona, 19 against Atlanta, and 24 against the Nationals. We will uncover that. Corey Provis, the TV voice of the Minnesota Twins, will join Jack McMullen to talk David Festa and what the Twins may have missed with Ronnie Enriquez. We will get you out of the count with Festa and Perez. Jack and Kelly will jump in for some back and forth. Marlins get Derek Hill back in the lineup, by the way. He did come in as a defensive replacement on Tuesday, but he will start and in center field and bat ninth. Expo question of today at Marlins Radio and Steve's guarantee to victory. So I don't even want to talk about yesterday. Obviously, it was upsetting, irritating loss. We don't have to go through it. But today, very excited to see Yuri Perez. And the big thing with Yuri coming off Tommy John, the command and the walks. 10 walks in Yuri's first 4 starts, but also the foul balls I just mentioned. 26 foul balls against the Arizona Diamondbacks, 19 against the Atlanta Braves, and 24 versus Washington. So instead of going up and bothering Eury on his start day, I did the next best thing. I went up to Daniel Moskis, the Marlins pitching coach, and I said, what's the why behind the foul balls?
So it's a big part of the talking points in our reviews with him have just been being able to finish at bats. The big thing with him, like everybody knows, he has the really good fastball. So the big focus has been development of the off-speed pitches, continuing to work on those, get those into a good place movement-wise, velocity-wise, and then obviously execution, being able to get out of the zone in competitive locations with 2 strikes and be in the zone early. And so some 2K pitches that probably aren't getting out of the zone or into like good enough locations, which is just leading to some of those foul balls or 0-2 counts becoming 1-2, 2-2, possibly 3-2, and just dragging that pitch count up.
In 2023, he's 22 years old. He's coming off the Tommy John surgery. I'm sure it's frustrating. Mosk, how have you seen him handle this early stretch?
People forget just how young he is. Like the mental makeup, obviously, is there. He's going to have, like everybody in this game is going to have his speed bumps. He's a kid who wants to be good. He's got a tremendous role model in Sandy Alcantara. He's seen the success he's had, and he just wants that for himself. He cares very much about his craft, and so just making sure that he understands that, look, the first start back from Tommy John isn't the end-all, be-all. It's just the first one of many that are coming in the future, and so we can't live and die by the results of the first one or the second one or the third one. The ultimate goal for this season is to get him to a really good place by the end of the season so that we can have a really normal off-season and then come into spring training really rocking and rolling for next year.
All right, so that was Daniel Moskis, Marlins pitching coach, and I thought he hit on a lot of points. I do want to talk with Jack McMullen in segment 4 about the foul balls because he'll be able to break it down to a better digestible way. But that was interesting what Daniel Moskis said. I mean, as much as we want Eury to come out here and throw 6 shutout, right now it's not entirely about the results. And I know that's maybe frustrating to hear, but this is a guy that's 22 years old. He started obviously at 20. The Marlins look at this guy as a franchise piece. And the goal, you heard it from Daniel Moskis, they want to get him on a regular schedule. So by the time we go to spring training next year, and I know it's hard to believe that, right? We're in the month of July, early July. Marlins are playing good baseball. But right now, the goal in mind is to have Eury in a normal situation where they don't have to monitor the pitch count, not monitor the stressful innings. So we will see here Eury Perez as he continues to progress in 2025. And I guess I'm not going to tell you, don't look at the result entirely, but that's kind of what you have to do and take a step back and just continue to see progress from Eury, some growth, and of course him recovering after his start. So Eury Perez will go opposite David Festa. Coming up next, we will hear from Corey Provis and Jack McMullen. We'll get a little bit more on David Festa, how he became a pitcher. It's an interesting story, and you don't want to miss it next on the Marlins Radio Network.
Comes to the plate, and that was the case for about 2 months. And it's not just, 96 off the bat, 99. It's like 108 plus every time. 1-0 pitch. That one a line drive. That's a fair ball. Down the left field line. Gurriel tracking it into the corner. Blake Lally going to send Stowers. Here comes the relay throw home. It's bobbled by the shortstop Perdomo in shallow left. And that is an RBI double for Eric Wagner.
In particular, I think you can find success.
2-0 pitch in on Wag's hands. He sends a little chopper over to third. Suarez has it on the bare hand. He fires, and that one bounces into the camera well. That's over the top of the padded wall along the first base line. Suarez tried to be a hero, but that is an infield single and an RBI for Eric Wagaman. He pushes to second on a fielding error, and it's 1-0 Fish. This offense jumped on Eduardo Rodriguez. 2-1. Otto swings. He lines one into left for a base hit. They're going to send Hicks from second. Gurriel's throw coming home, a little bit offline, and Otto Lopez continues this out-of-body experience.
Pitch it is. Let's make a pitch right here.
Is 1-2. That one cut on and missed. He went to the curveball. His first of the inning on pitch number 27, and he struck out McCarthy to strand 2. 2 come in, but we go. Perdomo waiting on deck. But Enriquez trying to dispose of the 9-man. His 2-2 pitch is cut on and missed. Tight turning slider at the shoe tops. Ronnie Enriquez has his 3rd save. And that's 7 in a row. 9 straight away from home. And for the first time in franchise history, a perfect week on the road.
ages 5 to 18 with training, educational resources, and a place to learn, play, and grow. To learn more, visit marlins.com/Babcock.
All right, here we go. We are rocking and rolling on this Thursday morning, a day before the 4th of July. Steven Strom, Kelly Sacco, Jack McMullen, Game 3, series finale. Marlins looking to win 9 of their last 10 here. Tough one last night. They dropped it 2-1 against the Minnesota Twins. An irritating call in the 6th, but we move on. Yuri Perez, David Festa will be your matchup on the mound. Corey Provis, he was with us. He was one of us for such a long time, over 10 years in the radio booth for the Minnesota Twins. But then, like him and Kyle, they moved on to TV. They're just better, and they like the camera. But our very own Jack McMullen got a chance to catch up with Corey Provis to talk about David Festa and Ronnie Enriquez.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Corey Provis, the TV play-by-play man for the Minnesota Twins. You were on radio for how many years with Minnesota?
I was on radio for 12 years. 12 years starting in 2012, and then moved over to TV last year.
Corey Provis, very curious. Let's start with today. David Festa, there's a lot of unknown with him, on our side at least. Haven't seen him before. What are we looking for with a guy like David Festa?
He's got one of the better nicknames in the game. He's known by his teammates as the Slim Reaper. Cool. He's about 6'5", weighs about 140 pounds. He's from New Jersey. He's actually a great success story. The Twins, for a long time, really struggled developing homegrown starting pitching, and it's beginning to change the last couple of years. And Festa is certainly, in that group. He was a 13th round pick out of Seton Hall. He really didn't start pitching until his senior year of high school. It was just by accident. There was an injury on his team, and he was a shortstop, and they needed an arm, and he said, okay, I'll do it. And that was his senior year of high school, and then walked down to Seton Hall University, and over time, he really bought into the Twins' philosophy, and they got rid of instructs a long time ago. They have these more like OTAs in the offseason, and they have these high-velocity pitching camps that they'll bring in their younger starters to try and work on in Fort Myers, and David bought in. He had nothing to lose, and a great success story. Year after year, velocity began to climb, and he's great. He's added a sinker this year. That's a new pitch for him, and we're seeing that across the game, but he throws hard. He's got a good slider. Change-up's a work in progress, but a 4-pitch mix. But the sinkers certainly helped his fastball.
Gotcha. David Festa and Kevin Durant, Slim Reapers galore. I didn't think I'd be asking a Javier Baez question right now, but he was just named an American League All-Star starter. What's the reaction from you guys that Byron Buxton was not named a starter?
I mean, it's all about fan turnout. And I think you can hate the system, but that's just what it is. And Tiger fans turned out in big numbers. They have a great team. We just saw them not too long ago, and they're loaded. It's a great team. They've got 3 starters now with Baez in center and Riley Green in left and Gleyber Torres at second base, and their fans are turning out huge. I mean, they're getting 40,000, high 30s a game. Certainly when Tarek Skubal starts, it's even better. But I think it's a testament to how Tiger fans, feel about their team right now. We all think that Byron is going to be there. Every team has to have one. And Buxton's had a phenomenal season. He's second to Aaron Judge in just about every American League category amongst outfielders. So he's had a great year. We all believe he'll be in Atlanta, and that'll mean a lot to him. Buxton is from Georgia. He's from a small town, Baxley, Georgia, which is a few hours south of Atlanta. But still, there would be a lot of emotion for Byron to be back in Georgia for an All-Star game. It would be only his second All-Star game, which is hard to believe, but that just speaks to his injury history. He's had a special season. He should be there. We think Joe Ryan should be there as well. Joan Duran, Griffin Jacks, a lot of guys that I think you can make strong cases for, but the record is what it is, and that probably will hurt the Twins in terms of how many players they have in Atlanta in a couple of weeks.
Corey Provis, last one for you. We were thinking for a little bit there that a former Twin was going to be our All-Star. He may not be, but he looks like our closer now, Ronnie Enriquez. Respectfully, did you guys know what you had in Ronnie Enriquez?
I think they did, but I think his spot was spoken for. I think there were just other guys ahead of him in terms of depth, and I think you saw that last night. That's how, when the Twins are going right and they have the lead after 5-6 innings, if they have all their bullpen arms available, those are the guys that they run with, and Stewart and Varland and Jackson Duran. It's a pretty mean quartet. Ronnie's had a great year, happy for him and his success. But I just think he was behind those guys, and maybe he's found some new pitches. And credit to the Marlins if they have found, another weapon, opened up, some more velocity for him, great. But there were just other guys. And I think really Louis Varland's emergence from starter to the bullpen, that kind of, I think, cemented where Ronnie was at with the big league team. I don't think they have any regrets about it because I think they're pretty happy with the back-end power arms that they have already.
Gotcha. Corey Provis, really appreciate it. Best of luck rest of the way.
Back, guys. Thank you.
Awesome, Steven.
Stuff, Jack McMullen and Corey Provis. Yeah, Ronnie Enriquez, 16 games with the Twins last season, 19 and a third, 3.26 ERA. Marlins picked him up this offseason, 4-1, obviously, this year, 2.85 ERA, and has blown through his career high with 41 innings pitched for the Marlins. We will break here. David Festa and Yuri Perez will kick off the festivities at 12:10. Series finale, rubber match. Marlins looking to win 9 of 10 right here on the Marlins Radio Network.
Joe Ryan, a quick worker, rocks and fires. And Stowers hits one well, out to right and deep. Wallner is back at the track, and it's gone. Power stroke. What were we saying? Kyle Stowers, his 14th home run of the year. 0-2 is cut on and missed. A changeup that bottomed out, and he might have saved his best pitch for last. Edward Cabrera, K's Brooks Lee, and he's through 7 scoreless against the Twins. Assuming Agustin Ramirez's spot in the lineup. And the pitch for Tez loops down the right field line. That is falling. That is in. A fair ball. Sanchez scores from third. Otto goes first to third. And Nick Fortes, welcome to the party. And there's a little bit of insurance. 2-1. That one lifted out to left center field. Hill and Myers converging. Derek Hill calling for it. D. Hill's got it. And that is how this ball game ends. Horsepower on the hill. Edward Cabrera for 7 scoreless. Bender with a 1-2-3 eighth. And Ronnie Enriquez does the same in the 9th. And for the first time since 2008, your Fightin' Fish have won 8 in a row.
DQ presents How to Make Your Summer Take Flight. Just head into DQ for a new Superman Cake Batter Cookie Dough Blizzard Treat. Treat your inner hero to an epic mix of sugar cookie dough, sprinkles, and cake batter flavor. Blend it all with legendary DQ soft serve, and it's enough to tempt Superman himself. Fly into DQ for our new Superman Cake Batter Cookie Dough Blizzard Treat before it's gone. And don't miss Superman, only in theaters July 11th. DQ, happy tastes good. Only at participating locations.
Hey, this is Eric Wagman, and you're listening to Marlins on Deck with Steven Strom on the Marlins Radio Network.
All right, let's do some housekeeping here on this third day of July. Steven Strom, Jack McMullen, Kelly Sacco. Game 3, series finale between the Marlins and the Twins. We're calling it the week in the Midwest. First of all, Ahmed back in the studio. If you want to know why the Marlins lost yesterday, you can point to Ahmed, who decided, you know what, I'm not going to work after the Marlins won 8 straight. He doesn't work yesterday. Poor Carlos in the studio held things down, but the Marlins couldn't pull through. So if the Marlins lose today, then we can let Ahmed off the hook. But for right now, it's his fault. Derek Hill, he has returned from the IL. He did come in as a defensive replacement on Tuesday. He is back in the lineup in the starting capacity for the first time in over a month. We haven't seen him since that Angel series in Anaheim. So good to get D. Hill back. We'll see what it looks like from an offensive standpoint. He had started to hit actually towards the end of his stint on the IL. Remember, it was that left wrist sprain. He's been playing crazy defense this season, so we will see Derek Hill back in the lineup. But let's get you ahead of the count here. David Festa, we heard about him, 25-year-old right-hander, 13th round pick in the 2021 draft. He's in season 2 with the Twins this season. 2-2 at 5.40 ERA, 36 2/3 innings pitched. He did earn the win on Friday against Detroit, 5 2/3 scoreless, one of his better starts of the season. 6 Ks, 2 hits. It was his first scoreless outing of at least 5 frames this season, and it was the first start without giving up a walk this season. So this is an interesting year for David Festa. 3 April starts, he had a 1.38 ERA, but then he was optioned at the end of April because Pablo Lopez and company had returned. So they sent Festa down after he really shoved for the first couple of starts in the month of April. He was recalled on June 5th. And ever since that, it has not gone well for Festa. 5 starts, a 7.61 ERA over 23 2/3. Now, the silver lining is his last start was really good against Detroit, 5 2/3 of scoreless ball on Friday. He did see Miami last September, 4 1/3, 7 hits, 4 runs. He does throw 4 pitches, a 4-seamer, a changeup, a slider, and a sinker. And as Corey Provis labeled him, he is nicknamed the Slim Reaper. Yuri Perez, 22-year-old right-hander, will make his 5th start of the season. 0-2, a 6.19 ERA, 16 frames, 14 strikeouts to 10 walks. He allowed 3 runs on 2 hits on Friday in Arizona and no decision. 3 walks over 4 1/3. Yuri's yearning to complete 5 frames this season. He's never faced Minnesota. We had mentioned the foul balls, 26 against Arizona, 19 against Atlanta, 24 against Washington. Now, the one thing I do want to mention as well with Yuri, because we've highlighted the foul balls, the walks as well. Yuri's first 4 starts of his career in 2023, ironically, he walked 10 batters. Through 4 starts this year, guess how many he's walked? 10 batters. The next 5 in 2023 combined 5 walks. So there was some adjustment there. We shall see if Yuri makes the adjustment today against the Twins. Coming up next, we will dive deeper into why the foul balls. We'll also talk Derek Hill's return with Kelly Sacco and Jack McMullen. We're back in 2 minutes on the Marlins Radio Network.
Joe Ryan, a quick worker, rocks and fires. And Stowers hits one well, out to right and deep. Wallner is back at the track, and it's gone. Power stroke. What were we saying? Kyle Stowers, his 14th home run of the year. 0-2 is cut on and missed. A changeup that bottomed out, and he might have saved his best pitch for last. Edward Cabrera, K's Brooks Lee, and he's through 7 scoreless against the Twins.
Is assuming Agustin Ramirez is spot in the lineup. And the pitch, Fortes loops down the right field line. That is falling. That is in. A fair ball. Sanchez scores from third. Otto goes first to third. And Nick Fortes, welcome to the party. And there's a little bit of insurance. 2-1. That one lifted out to left center field. Hill and Myers converging. Derek Hill calling for it. D. Hill's got it. And that is how this ball game ends. Horsepower on the hill. Edward Cabrera for 7 scoreless. Bender with a 1-2-3 8th. And Ronnie Enriquez does the same in the 9th. And for the first time since 2008, your Fightin' Fish have won 8 in a row.
Internet y Mobile. Hasta el 17 de abril, obtén Xfinity Internet de 300 megabit y una línea móvil Unlimited juntos por $30 al mes por un año. Y ahorra $1,000 en tu primer año comparado con Verizon y AT&T. Ve a es.xfinity.com. Requiere facturación electrónica y pago automático con cuenta bancaria registrada. Aplican restricciones. Equipo, impuestos y tarifas son adicionales. Después de la promo aplican tarifas regulares. Ahorros comparados a Verizon 5G Internet más una línea Unlimited Welcome y AT&T Internet 300 más una línea Unlimited Started SL. Requiere Xfinity Internet. Velocidades reales varían. Velocidades se reducen después del uso de 30 gigabits por línea. Los límites de datos y los ahorros reales varían.
Moment of Marlins action. Download the iHeartRadio app. Make Fox Sports 940 the top preset, and then listen to every Marlins game. Welcome in here on this Thursday morning. Marlins on deck. Steven Strom, Jack McMullen, and Kelly Sacco. David Festa will go opposite Yuri Perez in the rubber match here this afternoon. The big topic, guys, that I got into today was Yuri's walks and the foul balls. 26 foul balls forced from the Arizona Diamondbacks, 19 against Atlanta, and 24 against Washington. So I couldn't talk to Yuri today. He's starting. I respect that. But I did talk to the man that is probably in the second most control, and that is Daniel Moscas. So I asked him, what's the why behind the foul balls?
So it's a big part of the talking points in our reviews with him have just been being able to finish at bats. The big thing with him, like everybody knows, he has the really good fastball. So the big focus has been development of the off-speed pitches, continuing to work on those, get those into a good place movement-wise, velocity-wise, and then obviously execution, being able to get out of the zone in competitive locations with 2 strikes and be in the zone early. And so some 2K pitches that probably aren't getting out of the zone or into like good enough locations, which is just leading to some of those foul balls or, 0-2 counts becoming 1-2, 2-2, possibly 3-2, and just dragging that pitch count up.
Go cook, Jack.
Okay. Also, shout out Billy the Kid on X and YouTube right here. We are rooting for Yuri today. The thing that I take away from that is this guy's going through a UCL tear. He's trying to build back up after a UCL tear. What happens after Tommy John surgery or the internal brace procedure? Two abstract concepts that I'll get into a little bit more and try and make them concrete. Number one, command. There's room to be desired, or room to, kind of fill out the command when you come back. And then also the put away pitch. So let's start with command. You'll see Yuri spray a little bit, and we've seen it with the changeup. He was spiking the changeup a lot like what Sandy Alcantara was doing at the beginning of the year. Sandy, that is a feel pitch. It's the last pitch to come back. So understandably so, off of Tommy John surgery, Yuri is struggling to land the changeup in the strike zone. You will also see him sail the fastball a little bit. That's just because his mechanics are off. It's almost like you're learning how to walk again, right? When you're learning how to pitch at this high of a level, you're operating at a high speed that you never get to in any setting other than a Major League Baseball game. So it's just letting your body catch up to the speed that you were accustomed to working at in a Major League Baseball game setting. Number two is the put-away pitch, and that's what we're talking about right here. Sharpness of your arsenal. The fastball is always going to be there. The fastball for many guys after Tommy John surgery is borderline harder. And Yuri, we just saw him throw the hardest pitch of his Major League career. So what lacks? It's the off-speed pitch. It's the sharpness of the breaking ball. It's the feel of a changeup. And for me, the foul balls come from the sharpness of the breaking ball, leaving something to be desired. He's not getting that snap, that late break, because, again, he's got to teach himself how to walk again on the pitcher's mound, coming back from a year-plus absence of Tommy John surgery. So for me, it's a work in progress over the next 5-10 starts. I think you're going to see the foul ball number go down because the overall sharpness of the breaking pitches is going to get better. That's my big thing.
Decent job by you. Kelly, with Yuri, when he was 20 years old in 2023, it looked effortless at times. So I think one of the storylines as well is how has he been handling this? I'm going to play this sound from Moskis, and I want you to interpret it, and I want you to give me a little reaction on what Daniel Moskis has seen from Yuri and how he's handled this stretch.
People forget just how young he is. Like, the mental makeup, obviously, is there. He's going to have, like everybody in this game, is going to have his speed bumps. He's a kid who wants to be good. He's got a tremendous role model in Sandy Alcantara. He's seen the success he's had, and he just wants that for himself. He cares very much about his craft, and so just making sure that he understands that, look, the first start back from Tommy John isn't the end-all, be-all. It's just the first one of many that are coming in the future, and so we can't live and die by the results of the first one or the second one or the third one. The ultimate goal for this season is to get him to a really good place by the end of the season so that we can have a really normal off-season and then come into spring training really rocking and rolling for next year.
All right, so how about that? So, again, not the results, but they're even looking at spring training. What did you take away from that?
Well, the first thing I did when he mentioned his age, I double-checked. 22 and 78 days, just to be exact. It's true, you forget. It's true, you forget how young he is. Because for how young he is, and this probably has a little bit to do with the guidance of Sandy Alcantara, he very much has a maturity to him, and he's not one of those guys who is overly it's not one of those guys who's overly emotional. So it's hard to forget he's very composed. It's hard to forget how young he is. But again, 22 and 78 days. So I completely agree. And I was telling Jack this as we were navigating our way up to the radio booth, was trying to do some social work and not run into walls. He's coming back off of just terrible surgery. Like you said, you said decent job, fantastic job by you, by the way. Fantastic job by you. He just says decent. I say fantastic job. That was a job well
Steven
done.
likes keeping me humble.
Right?
And
I'm here to inflate your ego because I'm here for 3 days and I leave. So if you've got the big ego, it doesn't matter. But okay, I digress. As we were discussing too, you and as Daniel was discussing, you're coming off of Tommy John surgery. Yep. Look at the way someone like a Sandy Alcantara, who is mature, who has years under his belt, who is a Cy Young Award winner. And look how difficult the road's been for him, let alone for a 22-year-old who's barely been in this league.
Yep.
So again, he's handled it very, very well. And as I said to Jack a little bit earlier, it's all about just the small progressions. And I'm really, honestly, kudos to Daniel Moskis and to Peter Bendix and his team for saying, hey, listen, there's a bigger picture here as it pertains to Yuri. So we're not going to say, okay, go out there. Listen, is it great if he goes out there and he's spectacular and everything's working? Absolutely. But there's a realistic version to it of, hey, listen, just small baby steps because we have a bigger picture and you're going to play a big role in that.
Did you want to add to that, Jack?
Yeah, one more follow-up on the youth thing. The two rookie pitchers that are taking the league by storm right now, Jacob Mizorowski in Milwaukee, a year older than Yuri Perez.
Mm-hmm.
Chase Burns, who was the second overall pick in last year's draft by Cincinnati, 3 months older than Yuri Perez. So, we're talking about Yuri, who missed a year and a half recovering from Tommy John surgery after he came out like gangbusters in 23, and he's still 3 months younger than a guy taken in the first round last year.
Excellent stuff. And for Yuri today, we will keep an eye on the walks and the foul balls. Twins 24th in baseball in team walks at 2.91. Kelly and Jack have your call in 12 minutes. We'll break Expo question, Steve's guarantee, and then we'll play the rubber match right here on the Marlins Radio Network.
1-2, both runners on the move. Augustine slaps one down the right field line. Long run for McCarthy. He's not going to get there. It short hops the wall, and it gets over the wall. Both runners were off and moving. Sanchez will score from second. It was a ground rule double. That'll send Otto Lopez back to third base, but it is an RBI for Augustine Ramirez. And 4 hitters in, it's 2-0 pitch. 108 plus every time. 1-0 pitch. That one a line drive. That's a fair ball. Down the left field line. Gurriel tracking it into the corner. Blake Lally going to send Stowers. Here comes the relay throw home. It's bobbled by the shortstop Perdomo in shallow left. And that is an RBI double for Eric Wagman.
And chucks it towards first or home plate.
2-1. No one lifted out to right field and deep. McCarthy is back at the track, and that is gone. Otto Lopez is on fire right now. Make it a 9-game hitting streak, and he cuts the Marlins deficit in half. It's a 2-run home run the other way, and it's 7-5 Arizona in the top of the 8th. 1-1. That one a line shot right up the gut and throw for a base hit, and all of a sudden it's a 1-run game. Augustine Ramirez scores from third base. Liam Hicks, the other catcher, drives him in. It's an RBI knock, 7-6 after a 3-spot in the top of the 8th. 1-2. Hernandez swings. He lifts one out to right. That should be deep enough. McCarthy gearing it up. Jake McCarthy makes the catch. He sails to throw home. Myers with a head first dive. First pitch from Murillo to Ramirez. That one a bouncing ball. That's past the glove of the first baseman Smith into right field for a base hit. They're sending Otto. McCarthy's throw is cut off. Head first dive takes Otto in, and Augustine
Jackson hit a home run.
Take the Marlins wherever you go. Download the iHeartRadio app and make Fox Sports 940 the top preset to listen to every Marlins game this season. Yuri Perez, will this be the start where we say, that's the guy we saw in 2023? Steven Strom, Kelly Sacco, and Jack McMullen have your call in 10 minutes. Love these afternoon games, and I can officially say good afternoon. It is the rubber match, and it is game 3 of this 6-game homestand for the Miami Marlins. They will welcome back Derek Hill into the starting lineup. We saw him on Tuesday night as a defensive replacement. He will bat 9th and play center field, basically filling that role of Dane Myers. Let's get to our Expo question today at Marlins Radio. What was the last year current Twins manager Rocco Baldelli cross paths with Peter Bendix? Remember, they were in Tampa Bay together. Make sure to vote at Marlins Radio. Ahmed, it is time for Steve's guarantee.
Batter up.
Batter up.
Let's play some ball.
First pitch is moments away. Time now for Steve's guarantees.
Look at Ahmed was super sharp there. He always is. But I'm going to go with Yuri Perez. We've been talking about the walks. Less than 2 Twins walks today. Daniel Moskis spoke about the emphasis on avoiding the free pass. 10 walks for Yuri through his first 4 starts. It's inhibited him from completing 5 frames this season, and I'd mentioned in 23. Now, this is not post-Tommy John, so this can be completely different as far as the contextual seasons. But the first 4 starts for Yuri in 2023, 10 walks. First 4 starts in 2025, 10 walks. Now, the next 5 for Yuri in 2023, 5 starts, 5 walks. I like the adjustment to be made today. And also I mentioned the Twins 24th in baseball in team walks at 2.91. Folks, I hope you got the itch for first pitch because when we come back, Jack McMullen paints a picture. Kelly Sacco, she's ready to rock. Starting lineup for the first pitch is right around the corner. Thanks for tuning in to the Marlins On Deck pregame show. I'm Steven Strom. Let's flip the M together. Miami Marlins baseball is next. Nice job, Ahmed. This is the Marlins Radio Network.
Find what you love and love what you find. A Total Wine and More.
Good job, Bayo.
The place to go for.
Good job.
Sipping rosés with seltzers on ice, making margaritas with your favorite tequilas. It's warm out, let's go. Our prices are low on spirits, beer, and wine. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. B21.
Were you uninvited to game night? Do you play board games with the ferocious intensity of an iron-fisted oligarch? Have friends left game night asking, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. Sleeping hot this summer? Try a Tempur-Pedic with advanced cooling at Mattress Firm's July 4th sale. Save $500 on Tempur-Breeze and get a $300 instant gift. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really? I'm fine.
Why, yes, of
Oh,
course.
I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait, one sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying for it. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card. Allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off earlier.